Hey guys, so today we're going to look at SAT Math Module 2. We're going to walk through all the questions because I know Math Module 2 can be a little bit tough. So I'm just going to try to make it a little bit easier so you guys know what to expect, what kind of questions might be on the next upcoming SAT, which I think is in December. So here we go. Alright, so here we go. First question. Tilly earns P dollars for every W hours of work. Which expression represents the amount of money in dollars Tilly earns for 39 W hours of work? Okay, well, let me just kind of write it like this. So P dollars, so we can kind of visualize it a little bit better. W hours. If she earns, so they want how much money she earns for 39 W. So 39 W hours. These have to be equal. What did she do to get from W to 39 W? She multiplied by 39. We're going to do the same thing up here. Right? What you do to one side, or what you do to the top side has to be done to the bottom side, and vice versa. Times 39, we get 39p dollars. So that's my answer. Sorry, this is a lot messy. Let me write better for the next question. Okay, second question. For a training program, Juan rides his bike at an average rate of 5.7 minutes per mile. Let me just write that down. 5.7 minutes per mile. So these first questions might be a little bit easy, but just to kind of get your guys' concepts a little bit clear. So 5.7 minutes per mile, right? Which of the function and models the number of minutes it will take for Juan to ride X miles? They want the number of minutes it will take for Juan to ride X miles. So, for 1 mile, every 1 mile, it takes him 5.7 minutes. So, we want to multiply by the number of miles, right? The X miles. And the only answer that does that is option D. The solution to the given system of equations is xy. What is the value of y? Okay. Well, system of equations, we know how to do this. First equation, we can easily solve for x, right? 3x equals 12. We know x is 4, right? Divide both sides by 3. I'll just write that to kind of show you, right? Divide both sides by 3. Now that I know x equals 4, I can put this into my second equation. So you get negative 3, 4 plus y equals negative 6. Negative 12 plus y equals negative 6. And this then y equals 6. B. Number 4. The equation gives the speed s in miles per hour of a certain car t seconds after it begins to accelerate. What is the speed in miles per hour of the car 5 seconds after it began to accelerate? Okay, well, t represents the seconds after it began to accelerate, and it gives us 5 seconds after it began to accelerate, so we can just assume t equals 5. Well, we know t equals 5. They tell us t equals 5. We don't have to assume anything. So s equals 40 plus 3. T is 5. Put that in. 40 plus 15 equals 55. Boom. D. For the right triangle shown, a equals 4, a equals 4, b equals 5, b equals 5. What expression represents the value of c? Okay, this is Pythagorean theorem. We all know this. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. So, what represents the value of c? Well, to get c from here, you know it's c equals square root of a squared plus b squared. And they give you a. A is 4, so 4 squared, plus b is 5 squared. And boom, D. D matches that perfectly. So again, just testing your basic knowledge of right triangles. We all know Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. What is the solution to the given equation? Again, this is just simple algebra. 4x equals 160. How did I do that? Just subtracted 5 from both sides. X equals 40. The x-intercept of the graph shown is x0. What is the value of x? Okay. What's an x-intercept? X-intercept is just where it touches the x-axis. Right here, they labeled the x-axis for us. So where does it touch the x-axis? At 7. So x is 7. Again, this is just kind of testing your basic conceptual understanding. You don't even know anything about parabolas. You just need to understand what an x-intercept, what a y-intercept is. And I'm sure all you guys do. Next, but yeah, we can move on to number 8. Number 8, next question. The function f is defined by f of x equals 1/10 x minus 2. What is the y-intercept of y equals f of x in the xy plane? You can do this two ways. First, you can recognize this is a y equals mx plus b format. So we immediately know that b is the y-intercept, and b in this case is -2. So the y-intercept is 0, -2, which gives us b. But if you forget this or you don't know this, y-intercept is a point at where the function or the graph touches the y-axis. And when it touches the y-axis, that means x is at 0. So we can just put an x, 0 for x right here. So 1/10 y equals 0 minus 2, right? Anything multiplied by 0 is 0, so 0 minus 2, which equals -2. Our y-intercept is -2. And again, writing our coordinate pairs, we get 0, -2. Because the left is the x coordinate, the right is the y coordinate, and we get b. This is obviously a lot easier if you remember y equals mx plus b, but if you don't, you can always just remember how to solve it just using this, right? Just remember conceptually how to get the x and y intercepts, but you can also just memorize y equals mx plus b. This is not that hard to memorize. The function f is defined by f of x equals 7x cubed. In the xy plane, the graph of y equals g of x is the result of shifting the graph of y equals f of x down 2 units. Which equation defines function g? This question is just testing translations. We can immediately see that the answer is D, right? Because you're going down 2 units. If you don't believe me, you can plot it on Desmos, or there's a bunch of videos on YouTube that basically explains specific translations. This one you can kind of see it, but if you still don't understand, that's okay. And it's a little bit hard, but you can just go down 2 units. Down 2 units is just -2. But to kind of get a more solid understanding, I don't want to go too in depth right now into it, but if you guys want, I can make a whole video on it. But basically, just search up like linear function translations on YouTube or on Google, whatever, and you'll find a bunch of really helpful videos, and you can learn all about how graphs get translated up and down, left and right, like get stretched and squeezed. I don't. There's not a lot, but you should definitely know how to do it. You should, but the basic ones you should just know, like 7x cubed plus 2 is just translating this up 2 units. This is translating the graph down 2 units. But yeah, just get more kind of like a more basic understanding. I think you should kind of search it up on YouTube just to kind of get a more in-depth tutorial. All right, so next question: x equals 10. Or sorry, number 10. X plus 7 equals 10. X plus 7 squared equals y. Which ordered pair xy is the solution to the given system of equations? Okay, there's a bunch of ways to do this. We can expand this out, but I'm too lazy to do that. So the first thing I want to do, from here I can solve for x immediately, right? So I get x equals 3. Now that I have x equals 3, I can put that back in here. So 3 plus 7 squared equals y. 10 squared equals y. Y equals 100. So now we have our two coordinates, 3, 100. And we get our answer to be A. Which expression is equivalent to 7x cubed plus 7x minus 6x cubed minus 3x? Okay. This one, it looks easy. It is easy, but the one thing a lot of people miss is they forget to distribute this negative to both. So this would actually be 7x cubed plus 7x minus 6x cubed. And this is where people mix up. It's going to be plus 3x. You have to distribute that negative to this negative. You can't forget that. So now I get x cubed plus 10x. Again, that is A. Boom. Next question, 12. The function p is defined by p of n equals sn cubed. 7n cubed. What is the value of n when p of n is equal to 56? Okay, well, 7n cubed equals p of n, but they want p of n to equal 56. So now I get n cubed equals 8, right? I divide both sides by 7. N cubed, so what's the cube root of 8 equals 2? We can even put this back in, right? 7 times 2 cubed is just 7 times 8, which is 56. Boom. Alright, next question. 13. In the figure shown, line C intersects parallel lines S and T. What is the value of X? Okay. There was a question on the most recent, on the, I think, October SAT. Something really similar. So it's very possible that's going to come up again. This is just basically, you need to know what like alternate interior, alternate exterior, similar, vertical angles, stuff like that is. So how do you do this? Well, you can just look here, or how I like to do it, just kind of really double check. 110. This is a straight line. So this means this has to be 70, right? Because a straight line is 180 degrees. That's a huge degree sign. But yeah, boom. 70. Now, X and this angle right here are corresponding angles. What does that mean? Corresponding angles are angles that are congruent, which means X is 70 degrees. If you don't know this, again, I can make a whole video on it if you guys want. But this is something that you should know. You need to know what, see, this is a vertical angle. These are congruent. These are congruent. This is also 110, right? Because they are corresponding. This is 70. Alternate interior angles. This is something you need to know. But again, you can search up on YouTube. There's a bunch of really cool videos you can watch. Not cool, but really informational videos. But yeah, we can move on to the next one. A list of 10 data values is shown. What is the mean of these data? Again, we have our calculators, the whole test. So we can just, how do you find mean? Mean is just total over number of data points. And so what you get, so we can just put this into our calculator. 6 plus 8 plus 16 plus 4 plus 17 plus 26 plus 8 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. That's 100. Divided by 10 data values, right? Number of data points is 10. Boom. The mean is 10. Okay. The equation E of t equals 5 times 1.8 to the t power gives the estimated number of employees at a restaurant where t is the number of years since the restaurant opened. Which of the following is the best interpretation of the number 5 in this context? Well, this one might seem a little bit complicated because you're dealing with an exponential function, but if we can think about it, we can even put in some numbers to kind of understand a little bit more. Let's say t is 0. If t is 0, that means that's when the restaurant opened, right? T is 0, when, I'll just say R opened. So what I get? 5 to the 1.8 to the 0. Anything to the 0 power is 1. 5. So that means that when the restaurant opened, there were 5 employees. So now that we have this, we can see that the answer is clearly A. The estimated number of employees when the restaurant opened. When R opened, the number of employees was 5. So what is the minimum value of the given function? Well, minimum value, that's also something called a vertex. This is going to look something like, it's going to look like a smiley face like this. I don't know exactly where, but it's going to look something like that. So the equation for a vertex, this is going to be really, really helpful. You can either graph it on Desmos, but let's say you just want to know how to do it like on paper, then the equation for a vertex, the x value, is going to be negative b over 2a. What is b? Well, ax squared plus bx plus c, right? The form of a parabola. B in this case is 0. There's no x, just 1 x the first coefficient, or no x to the 1 value. So this is 0. B is 0, so 0 over 2a. A is 1. This is 0. So the x value of the vertex is 0. X value. They want the of the given function. So g of 0 is 0 squared plus 55, and you get 55, which is b. This negative b over 2a, this is a really, really helpful equation. I'll put it right here. Vertex equation, x value. I know you can use Desmos, but let's just say, I don't know, like something crazy happens, Desmos like malfunctions, whatever. You can always just use this x coordinate, and it's a good thing to know as well. A good thing to keep in your back pocket. Let's move on to number 17. Each year, the value of an investment increases by 0.49% of its value the previous year. Which of the following functions best models how the value of the investment changes over time? Well, it says increases, so we can immediately get rid of the decreasing, right? It increases 0.49% of its value. But this is the next important part, 0.49% of its value the previous year. It's going to be C. Because the slope is always changing. In a linear equation, the slope is constant. It's just a constant value. Exponential looks something like this. The slope is always changing. And so is this. It's the previous year, right? That's how you think about it. That's how I would think about it, at least. Number 18. The population of Greenville increased by 7% from 2015 to 2016. The 2016 population is K times the 2015 population. What is the value of K? Alright, so if we have basic understanding of percentages, we're going to know that it's going to be C. But the kind of test to make sure we're correct, let's say in 2015 the population was 100. In 2015, right? 2015, it increased by 7%. So in 2016, 100 plus 7% is just 107, right? We know how to do that. 7% of 100, so 7% of 100 plus 100, right? That gives us 107. So 107 is 100 times k, so we get k equals 107 over 100, and we get 1.07. We can think about it this way, or we can just look at our percentage if we have a good understanding of percentages, or we can just look at it this way. Usually I get kind of paranoid, so I do like this, but you save a lot more time if you just have your understanding of percentages down. Okay, which expression is equivalent to a to the 11 over 12, where a is bigger than 0? Well, again, this is going to be something that you're going to need to use your exponent rules for. And I have a video on my channel on basic exponent rules, all the exponent rules you're going to need for the SAT. So after this video, you can check that out if you need a refresher. So basically, but kind of recap, this is the same thing as 12 to the a over 11. So knowing that, we can convert these forms into the radical forms into the exponential forms. So this is going to be a to the 132 over 12, which is wrong. How the heck can we get 11/12 to equal 132 over 12? That's wrong. This one is going to be a to the 132 over 144. Can we simplify this? Yes, we can. We can divide. They're both divisible by 12, 11 over 12. So this is a to the 11 over 12, and that's your answer. They're the same. B. Number 20. An event planner is planning a party. It costs the event planner a one-time fee of $35 to rent the venue and $10.25 per attendee. The event planner has a budget of $200. What is the greatest number of attendees possible without exceeding the budget? Greatest number, immediately you think inequality. Inequality. Boom. Alright, that's a bad L, but whatever. So a one-time fee, right? So there's always going to be a 35 plus. Let's say let x equal number of attendees. So plus 10.25 per attendee. that has a budget of $200. So this has to be less than, the total cost must be less than or equal to 200. Do you guys agree? Because her budget is 200. We don't want to go above 200. So now we can just solve 2.5x bigger than or equal to, or less than and equal to. So 200 minus 35 divided by 10.25 is going to end up being, we can use our calculators here. So this is, alright, so we can divide this out, and using our calculators, we don't get a whole number. We get 16.09, blah, 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 blah. But we can't have, we can't have 0.09 of a person, so it's just going to be 16. So our answer is 16. If 4x minus 4 equals 112, what is the positive value of x minus 1? Okay. Here you can basically just, I don't want to say ignore the absolute value sign, but you can. You get 4x minus 4 equal 112. First thing I noticed, you can factor out the 4 to get x minus 1, right? 4x minus 1 equals 112. X minus 1 equals, what is 4? So divide both sides by 4. So I get 112 over 4, which is equal to 28. So x minus 1 equals 28. What is the positive value of x minus 1? Boom. We just solved it. 28. Boom. Alright, next question. A cube has an edge length of 68 inches. A solid sphere with a radius of 34 inches is inside the cube, such that the sphere touches the center of each face of the cube. To the nearest cubic inch, what is the volume of the space in the cube not taken up by the sphere? Okay. Since the sphere touches the center of each face of the cube, we know that it's big enough to like not move around. It's not like it's not like a particle of dust in the cube. We know that it's big enough to the point where we can just figure out the volume of the cube. So volume of cube minus volume of sphere is going to give us the area not taken up. So basically what they're saying, I don't know how to draw like a good cube. I'm going to try. All right. Pretend that this circle is a sphere, but basically we're going to find the volume of the sphere and the total volume of the cube. And if we subtract them, we should get the space outside of the sphere that's also inside the cube. All right. So now let's work on this. Volume of cube, the edge length is 68. So we know what a volume of cube is. If you don't, they have it on the reference sheet. So it's just 68 cubed minus the volume of a sphere. Well, what's the volume of a sphere? Again, they're gonna have it on your reference sheet, so you don't need to memorize anything. But it's just to write it down. It's 4/3 pi r cubed. The radius is 34, so 4/3 pi 34 cubed minus 4/3 pi 34 cubed. We can get out our calculators and solve. We're going to end up getting about A. There's the answer. Number 23. Here we go. What is the diameter of the circle in the xy plane with equation x minus 5 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 16? Okay. Well, this you just need to know what an equation for a circle is. Equation of a circle. Well, an equation for a circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. We can ignore h and k. They're irrelevant. But r is r is the radius squared. So 16 equals r squared. 16 equals r squared. We know r is 4 now. What's the diameter? Diameter is just 2r. So d equals 2 times 4, which is 8. Boom. B. Okay. For the exponential function f, the value of f of 1 is k, where k is a constant. Which of the following equivalent forms of the function shows the value of k as the coefficient on the base? Okay. Well, first thing, if k is a constant, we want to make sure these here. Wait, let me make it in red. This part of the thing is 0 when x is 1. Immediately, there's a clear answer. We can cross out this. We can cross out this. We can cross out this. It's going to be C. Why? Because 128 to the 1.6, when k is 1, 1 minus, or when x is 1, we get 128, 1.6 to the 0, just 128. A model estimates at the end of each year from 2015 to 2020, the number of squirrels in the population was 150% more than the number of squirrels in the population at the end of the previous year. The model estimates that at the end of 2016, there were 180 squirrels in the population. Which of the following equations represents this model where n is the estimated number of squirrels in the population t years after the end of 2015 and t is less than or equal to 5? Again, this is a whole lot of information, but we can look at it this way. The number of squirrels was 150% more than the number of squirrels at the end of the previous year. So that means from 2000, so each year, so 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. Now we're almost at 2025, which is insane, right? But that would mean that COVID was 5 years ago. But basically, they're saying so from 2016 to 2015, it's 150% increase. Just kind of make it more easy to visualize. The model estimates at the end of 2016 here there was 180 squirrels. Which of the following equation represents this model where n is the estimated number of squirrels in the population t years after the end of 2015 and t is less than 5? Well, first let's figure out what we need a constant, right? We need to figure out how many squirrels there were in 2015. If there's a 150% increase, we can figure there's going to be 150% less, right? So use our calculator, 150%, right? So this is basically that's all they're saying. So we can use our exponential equation, which is just n equals a1 plus p over 100 t in this case, right? P, the percent increase is 150. Oh shoot, I've been writing 180 this whole time. It's 150. So sorry, that's my bad. 1 plus 150 over 100 to the t power. This is just a to the 1 plus 1.5, just 2.5 to the t power. So it's going to look something like this. But so we can cross out a and c. Now we have to figure out whether a is 72 or 180. Well, if 1 year after, so n equals a to the 2.5 t. We know that 1 year after 2015, there was 180 squirrels, right? At the end of 2016. So the 180 squirrels equals a to the 2.5 to the 1. Solving for a gives me 72. And there we go. Our answer is going to be B. The graph of this pair of equations in the xy plane is a pair of perpendicular lines. Which of the following pairs of equations also represents a pair of perpendicular lines? Okay. What is a perpendicular? How do you know? Well, in perpendicular lines, we know that the slope is the negative reciprocal of the other line. So, if these two are perpendicular, let's solve for y here. to get into mx plus b so we can see the slope more easily. We get 7. Let me use black. The red is hurting my eyes now. 7y equals 1 minus 5x. 5x. Y equals negative 5x over 7 plus 1 over 7. Okay, so now let's do the same here, right? Solve for y. So we get by equals 1 minus ax. Y equals minus a over bx plus 1 over b. The y-intercept doesn't matter here. So this slope, the slope of this is negative 5 over 7. I'll say slope. If these two are perpendicular, that means that this slope is the negative reciprocal of this. So it's going to be 7 over 5. If we put this in, so negative a over b equals 7 over 5. 7, oops, sorry, I don't know why, like, the 7 looks 7 over 5. So now we get negative a over b equals 7 over 5. We can start looking into these. So let's start with a. 10x plus 7y. Just do this really quickly. I know you guys know how to do this. So a doesn't work out, so we can erase this. A doesn't work. We can cross out a. Let's try b next. So the slope of b is going to be negative 10 over 7. Now let's figure out the slope, next slope. So it's going to be negative a over 2b. So again, these have to be the negative reciprocals of each other to make sure that they're perpendicular. So if we do that, we end up getting negative 2b over a, and we know that a over b is 7 over 5, or 5 over 7 if you flip it, so you get negative 10 over 7, which makes b our correct answer. Next one. In the given equation, c is a constant. The equation has no real solutions if c is bigger than n. What is the least possible value of n? Okay. This one is a quadratic equation question, but you don't have to do the full quadratic equation. You just need to understand what the discriminant is. B squared minus 4ac. C is a constant. The equation has no real solutions. So if you have a good understanding of the quadratic equation and just parabolas in general, you'll know that for it to have no real solutions, that this b squared minus 4ac has to be less than 0, because you're going to have something in the imaginary coordinate system, which we don't want. We plug in these numbers, right? We get negative 34 squared minus 4 times 1 times c. Just use the numbers up here. We get 1156 minus 4c has to be less than 0 for the equation to have no solutions. 1156. We're going to solve for c now. And we get c is bigger than 289. And if we just flip it around like this, we have the same setup as the thing they gave us up here. So now we know n is 289. And there we go. We're done. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. Comment what other videos you want me to see if you want a specific tips for specific SAT math questions, and I'll see you in the next video.